nuance is there. And people definitely can hear it. Audiophiles, as they're called, they can hear that stuff. And it's, especially if you're in the really heavy musical types of styles like classical, not heavy in meaning that it's, depressing, but it's really instrumentation and it's very nuanced. You're talking classical, you're talking jazz, even opera, because some of those notes that the operettes or singers hit there's a lot of variation and nuance in that human voice, and it's absolutely. Now, I don't like opera myself personally. I gotta tell you, I know some of those people have some absolutely fantastic voices, and they're highly talented people. Even though I don't particularly like the style of music, but anyway, I digress. Somebody asked me over on, which is why I'm not. Instagram is not connected to the Rod Eccles Show in any way. It's just, I don't even have a lot of pictures over there yet. It's just something I play around with. But you might, look me up over on Instagram and find and check out the few pictures I have taken that I've posted over there. But anyway, lightning rod photo, I think it is, or photography, one of the two. I was asked earlier today about something on my Facebook fan page, Rod Eccles Show page. And I know I've addressed this before, but I realize that there are a lot of people out here who haven't heard the answer because I still get this question a lot. And that's about the Confederate battle flag. What do I think about the Confederate battle flag and all this brouhaha that's surrounding the battle flag? Look, I understand that people think that there is some historical context to it. Well, it's just showing our history, our pride of history, Rod. Well, let me explain something to you. Now, first of all, I am not saying that people should be chastised or there should be laws preventing one from owning, flying, displaying, what have you, the Confederate battle flag. People should have the freedom to do that. However, this notion, and it should not, because it represents a government, if you will, an army, if you will, that lost a war to us. So you don't glorify the loser. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever glorified the loser in a war. So it should not have been flying over any state capital or any government building or property whatsoever. Zip, zero, nada. But here is the issue I have with it. Again, people can do freely what they want with it. This historical argument they're using, this heritage thing, is wrong and it's a farce. And let me tell you why. And I'm going to pull out the Nazi. You don't see people really wanting to carry around the Nazi flag anywhere on the planet. But yet and still, especially Germans, but yet and still, it is a part of their heritage, a very powerful part of their heritage. But that flag, that symbol, represents something very sinister. Now, the Confederate battle flag, sure, people say it represents being a rebel today, all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to use the historical argument, the heritage argument, the historical heritage part of that flag represents a very reprehensible part of our country's history, and that is slavery and oppression. I'm sorry, but it does. And so, therefore, you will not find me displaying the Confederate battle flag. Now, I don't think that they should be pulling it, off the shelves and everywhere else. And I don't think they should be canceling the Dukes of Hazzard, for crying out loud, because a general on top of the General Lee on the roof, they've got a symbol of the Confederate battle. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Because in no way did that show, other than the depiction of the flag, did it express any type of view of racism or white superiority whatsoever? None. Zero. And to say just because they had it on there, well, it means that they were racist and we can't have racism anywhere, is a crock as well. And I know a lot of people that display this flag are not really racist. They're not bigoted in the sense that we would normally call them to be bigoted. In fact, there are even blacks that fly the flag, and I think that's pretty sad, actually. But there are, because they have this new romantic notion of what that flag represents and means. They've tried to change the meaning of the flag, and that's all well and good. But when you use the argument, it's a part of our heritage. That's when you lose people. Now, I can buy the fact that you're putting it up in your, you're flying it from your truck, or you have it as curtains in your window because you're all about being a rebel and doing things differently and being disruptive and that kind of thing. But when you use the argument, well, it's part of our heritage. Well, that's when you lose people, because that's a very dark, negative heritage, and that's not something that Americans should be proud of. Because you don't have Germans being proud of their Nazi heritage. I'm just making the comparison and telling you the truth. Plain and simple. That has always been my position on the battle flag. We live in these United States of America. It's not an insightful type of thing. Look, liberals did this on purpose. Again, no, it should never have been flown over a state capital. And I find it interesting that Republican governors have tried to, all over the South, have tried to get the symbol removed from their state flags, or prevented from being flying over state capitals and state property, and they were always blocked by Democrats. Until recently, all of a sudden, because this kid down in the South shot up a black church, everybody, well, he's got to be Republican. Turns out that he wasn't. He was another Democrat. But they made this argument that, if he was using that flag, and that flag it shows that he's a racist and blah, blah. And so all of a sudden they change on a dime because they thought it was politically expedient to do so, and they could make political points. Let's face it. Democrats have lost some 1,300 to 1,500 seats since 2010, all across this country. Let me repeat that. Democrats have lost some 1,300 to 1,500 seats all across this country, mostly to Republicans, some to independents. You understand what that means? That they are down up to 1,500 seats in local, state, and federal levels of government. Every half year or off election year, 2010, 2014, 2012, and 2014. Or no, it was 10. Yeah. 10 and 14. They lost big time. And every time they thought that they were going to come in and the people were going to vote for them and they were going to win and they were going to put the Republicans down, and in 2010, they had the shock of their life, the biggest peaceful transfer of power in the world's history. In one night, Americans turned out more than 700 Democrats and replaced them with Republicans and a few independents. And in 2012, they made a slight comeback. Nowhere near what they thought. They thought they could ride the coattails of Barack Obama. Didn't work for them. 2014, they thought, well, we're going to gain some more. And again, they got slapped down. They lost more seats. So by the time all of this is all said and done, coming to this point, going into the 2016 election, the Democrats are down up to 1,500 seats all across this country. Let's use a lower number, 1,300. Do you understand what that means? In a 4-year time frame, you've gone from being the top of the heap, thinking you guys are all that because you put the first black in the half black in the White House in 2008, and that you're going to roll with this thing, and then you get rebuked not once, not twice, but 3 times in 4 years. And you start asking yourself, well, geez, we need to do something to try to change and switch the tide. So they're looking for anything. And lo and behold, here comes a gift to them. This kid, a roof Darren or Daryl or whatever Roof goes and shoots up a black church in the South, and they find pictures of him waving the Confederate flag, and they go, aha, there's our ticket. But that didn't work either. Because too many Americans aren't falling for it because they know that it was Democrats who were blocking a bunch of Republicans for the past 150 years, blocking Republican governors from taking down that flag over state property. So it didn't work. It didn't work. And a lot of blacks are not falling for it either. We're not. So, this is why I keep saying so loudly that the Republicans need to be bold now. We have got the momentum and the power, and we have got to stop acting like little scaredy little chickens. Trembling in our boots every time Obama or Harry Reid walks by. They have nothing. Nothing. Do you realize, and I don't think the Republicans actually realize what the hell they have right now. They have not. They could steamroll the Democrats and put Barack Obama on the stump every single time. But they're afraid of the lamestream media and a few loud Democrats calling them out as racist and bigots and homophobes and sexist. Just go ahead and do it. And be loud about it. And be proud about it. Hell, gays aren't the only ones who can be proud. Be proud about it. We could roll the Democrats. We have the numbers to do it if we just stuck together. And they would come about, and then their obfuscation and blocking would be so evident that in 2016, not only will they lose the White House, but they'll lose even more seats across the country. Look, I know in Pennsylvania, they're turning out Democrats left and right at the local and county level. I mean, what they've done in PA is absolutely redonkulous. And if it weren't for the big cities, like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and a couple others, that would be a red state, not a blue. But this is. You get out there in the country, in the more rural and suburban areas of Pennsylvania, that's extremely conservative territory. Let me tell you, I've been down there recently. I've seen it, heard it, watched it. People are incredible down in PA. Let me tell you, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow I will be in Pennsylvania again. I will be giving the keynote address in Erie, PA. I've never been to Erie, PA. I'm looking forward to it. Right there on one of the Great Lakes, and they actually sent me a wonderful video touting the area, and I was rather impressed. Almost made me want to think about moving there, except then I remembered, oh, wait, no, this is Pennsylvania, and it's not New Hampshire. But it really looks wonderful. And I'm looking forward to being down there and spending a day down there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, just look up, on the Rod Eccles Show page on Facebook, to see the itinerary. Now, if you're in the area, I think, an hour and a half away from Cleveland? So it's you can drive from Cleveland to it's open to, Republicans, Tea Party members, independents of conservative independents. It's open. But you're only an hour and a half not even an hour and a half from Cleveland, I guess. Jamestown, New York is about a 30-minute drive. So it's within that area. Come on out and show your support. Hopefully I'll wow you. It's going to be a lot of fun. But no, I think I like my state so far. More efficient government, but unfortunately they are trying to grow it. But I think the people are trying to stop it, and they're doing so far so good. So it can be done. Limited government.